Who the hell are you?
Guys, what the hell is going on with Nick Fury? Samuel L. Jackson's eye patch wearing super spy used to be one of the coolest characters in these movies. He was mysterious, he was a badass, and yeah, he was funny, but he was funny in a way that never let you forget that he was about 15 steps ahead of everybody in the room. He was the guy who knew that no matter how big and scary you think the world is, you have no idea what you don't know about. He's been in more of these movies than anybody, more than Iron Man, plus multiple appearances in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But recently, the character of Fury has taken a lot of abuse, and I kind of don't understand it. In Captain Marvel, he gets his eye scratched out by a cat, which makes Fury's most badass moment kind of retroactively hilarious, as well as turning his, dominant facial feature into a punchline, which just feels kind of mean. This is not a hate video about Captain Marvel, by the way. I think that movie is fine. It's got some weird structural problems, but that's not really what this video is about, so moving on. And then, in Far From Home... yeah, spoilers. And then, in Far From Home, which is a fantastic movie that Fury is pretty solid in, we find out in a post-credits scene that it wasn't Fury at all. It was Telos impersonating him? Which, hey, it's a fun reveal, and looking back, the seeds were definitely planted in the movie, but god damn it, when will somebody give Fury a role in a movie where he actually gets to do something cool himself? Fury's mystique has been basically shattered at this point, and a lot of fans have started to see him as a bit of a joke. But I love Nick Fury, and I think I know how to fix this. Wait, that title's already taken? By Shia LaBeouf? For decades, Fury has been the biggest threat to the shadow organizations, mercenaries, and supervillains of the world. But after losing 5 years to the Snap, Fury is more vulnerable than he's ever been. He's got no shield, the Avengers are scattered, and as Fury himself says in Far From Home, he's got no intel. Fury is alone. So all the bad guys who live in the shadows decide that it's time to take him off the board for good. Some big-time mysterious rich guy puts a $1 billion bounty on Fury's head, and everybody's trying to collect. Basically, think of this as the MCU's John Wick. Nick Wick? I'm getting off track. This is the movie where Fury reminds us all why he's the ultimate
Bad motherfucker.
of this universe. Now, who is the big bad of this movie? The guy who puts the bounty on Fury's head? Well, I did some research. I looked up a list of Nick Fury's villains, and, well, the pool is pretty shallow when you pull out all the Hydra guys. I mean, number 3 on this list is literally just Hitler, but I found someone who I think could really work. He provides a really effective mirror to Fury's own journey over the course of these movies, and most importantly, helps to give Fury back some of the mystique he's lost. We open our movie in the 80s, during the Cold War. Fury's like a level 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. agent at the time, or maybe he's not even working for S.H.I.E.L.D. yet, but he's a spy in the field somewhere in Eastern Europe, maybe Berlin.
It was the Cold War. We were everywhere. Belfast, Bucharest, Belgrade, Budapest. I like the beats. I can make them rhyme.
And he's running up against a KGB agent by the name of Alexander Lukin. This is our big bad. In the comics, Lukin climbed up the ranks of the Soviet military to become a general, and then, after the fall of the Soviet Union, an independently wealthy businessman. And if that career trajectory sounds familiar, it's because it's almost identical to Fury's. Fury served in the military for a while, then became an entry-level S.H.I.E.L.D. agent during the Cold War, rising up the ranks until he became director. But after the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., he had to start building something new on his own. Lukin is Fury's opposite number, his dark reflection, and he's going to be the one to put the bounty on Fury's head in the present. I'm thinking about a fourth of this movie would be set in the 80s, with Fury versus Lukin as young men, kinda 60s Bond style. And then the rest of the film will be set in the present, with Fury using every trick he's learned over the course of his 50-year career as a soldier and a spy to fight his way through waves of mercenaries and supervillains to confront Lukin himself and make peace with both his past and who he is in the present. I think that this is the best way to set this whole thing right. Nick Fury's been a part of this universe since the very first movie. He was the one who introduced us all to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a concept, and it's about time he got the respect he deserves. Oh, and one more thing. I want one of the mercenaries to be this guy, Boomerang, a hapless C-list villain who's somehow the only one to make it out of this whole thing unscathed, because Boomerangs always come back, and he will be coming back somewhere down the road for a movie adaptation of that Sinister Six comic where some down-on-their-luck bad guys do a heist. Alright, that's all I got.